Minute to post time, approaching the gate. They enter at the post. Now they're moving into the gate. Open range.
Hello, Billy Ho here, and another Kentucky Derby 149 preview profile video. We are going to cover the last 5 horses points-wise. Welcome to the channel, Billy Ho Sports. You can follow me on Twitter at Billy Ho Sports. And just ask that you please hit the subscribe button and give us a like, too, on the videos. Keep the comments rolling. Haven't had a chance to check them today, but I'm sure there's some interesting takes. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of interesting takes after this video, as we've had some shuffling due to some kind of tragic circumstances. But on an up note, just thinking of another favorite time of the year when it pours, rains, it pours. It seems like it always happens on Oaks or Derby Day. I can remember one year on Oaks Day, I think it was the year Big Brown won. Me and my girlfriend at the time went, and it poured down raining. We did the whole slip and slide thing and drank all day and had a great time. And my mom actually worked the beer booth for, I think, a friend's softball team or something. So we just had cups with us. And anytime we needed a beer, we just went back there and just tapped our own beer. By the time the later on in the day, nobody was really caring about anything anymore. Mom's hooked us up with a couple of big extra large trash bags that we made into like rain suits. And so we had a great time. It was just, more Derby fun. And it always seems like when you're there and in the infield and partying and you're young and the wetter and the nastier, the better. But, us as we're older, we want to go to parties and be outside and enjoy the sunlight. So hopefully we'll get that this year. The outlook looks all right. Middle of next week, we're going to be in the 70s. The temperatures are 7, 8 degrees below normal right around here. But that means it could be like 75 degrees Derby Day. So hopefully we don't get any rain. So like I said, subscribe to the channel. Once post position draws occur Monday, I will begin a deeper dive into these 3-year-olds. And of course, the post position draw is a big factor in determining how this race is going to unfold. So without further ado, let's get it started. And of course, the big news today was the injury and subsequent euthanizing of Wild on Ice. And I do apologize. I was supposed to be going in order of these videos, but yesterday I think just by copying and pasting on different things, my notes had Mage in the 11 through 15 folder, and Wild on Ice got kicked back to the 16 to 20. So it actually ended up working out. I didn't go out yesterday and profile a horse that is no longer with us. So rest in peace, Wild on Ice. And I feel bad for the trainer. The jockey, I can't remember his name, but he was 60 years old. I think he was going to be in his first Derby. So there was a lot of cool little storylines there for Wild on Ice. But, shout out to you. So that creates an opportunity to add in a horse that I actually like a lot more, which is by the name of Skinner, West Coast horse. So that's where we're going to start. I know it's not exactly points order, but I felt it necessary to start with Skinner because of the news out of Churchill Downs, or actually it was probably Lexington this morning. But anyway, so we got the Santa Anita Derby, and this is the one Practical Move won. But there was a couple other good horses, Mandarin Hero and Skinner, that made really, really good runs down the stretch. So we're going to take a look at that right now, and we'll pick it up with the number 7 here toward the mid pack. And he's just now making his move right here. So I really like the guts he displayed. Started 3 times as a juvenile and got some grade 1 experience along the way. Third in the Del Mar Futurity, I believe, and it was finished 6th in American Pharaoh. But here he comes. He's chasing down Practical Move, and then he gets hooked up with Mandarin Hero, and they're both like the horse. Practical Move's not even there. They're battling each other, it seems like, and then Mandarin Hero almost catches up to Practical Move. So absolutely not in the cards for any kind of win for Skinner in that race, but a valiant effort nonetheless, I thought. So anyway, he rallied boldly, as we just saw, wide in the far turn and got into a threatening position, and he earned a 99 Brisnet speed rating. And like I said in previous videos, Santa Anita track is just fast in general. We're talking like maybe a 96 buyer, 95 buyer, if I just had to guess. But good race. So, I don't know what I would put his odds at, but definitely higher than what Wild on Ice would have been. So we take one out and we add to the kitty. So, by the way, Skinner is out of Curlin, trained by John Sheriffs, who had a Derby winner with Giacomo, and he's going to be ridden by Victor Espinoza. So I am happy he got in. All right. So the next horse is Disarm, and he was third in the Lexington Stakes after coming off of actually he is by Gunrunner, trained by Steve Asmussen and ridden by Joel Rosario. And like I said, all these jockeys might not be riding these particular horses because some jockeys had multiple horses and they'll have to make their decisions. But I'm just giving you the last jockey. And once we get the post position draws next week, I'll be able to, hammer that out a lot better. So he ran second in the Louisiana Derby and was a so-so performance, I suppose. Asmussen felt he obviously needed more points. So he had to send Disarm to the Lexington after a 3-week rest. And he needed at least a third place finish to get into the Kentucky Derby. So basically what happens is the number six horse here, and he's running in the first flight here coming around. And it's really just almost like a training. After I've watched this video a couple of times, I was like, well, he was no threat to win this race. He was just, whatever. But actually watching it, and Asmussen said he cut back in distance a furlong, but the horse should thrive at the Derby distance. But I think what they did here was exactly what they needed to do. All right, I'm making my move here, and if I got a chance to win this race, I am going to bear down and do it. But I hit this turn, and I'm not catching those two winners, but I am going to ride out to get this third place. So he just kind of stays on the horse just enough to clear that third place barrier. And because he knows that those 6 points is all that's necessary for that horse to get into the Derby. And so he got her done. Now, I love horses that are out of Gunrunner. Early voting, last year's Preakness winner, a horse I was pretty high on. So I think after not being a factor down the stretch doesn't worry me. But I don't know if he's a real threat to win or anything, but he's a pretty top 7-ish horse, I'd say, in the mix somewhere. So I'd definitely be using underneath somewhere, like I saw one person posting that they were going to do a 4 over 5 over 7 trifecta, which is a good way to spread. So you're using the same horses in the top 3 spots, but then you're just adding one in second place and adding 2 extra in the third place slot. And that's for a 50-cent trifecta. It was about a $40 ticket. And that's the kind of tickets that you want for Kentucky Derby. So anyway, Disarm will be good to go for the first Saturday in May. Now, the next horse up I wanted to go ahead and mention is Jace's Road, who was third in the Louisiana Derby. And he got in just recently on a defection as well. So Jace's Road was 6-1, the 11th horse in the Louisiana Derby. And I think another one that got into a product of this slower pace. So we'll pick it up here around the 3/4 mile. and so he's right there with them. You know, they both were content to sit back on their laurels and run a really the slowest pace in all of the preps. And you know, it's no fault of Kings Barnes. He took what he could get, but when you don't have enough horse, or when you got way too much gas in the tank, you can't catch a leader like that. He's gone. So all Jace's Road is doing is just trying to maintain. And you know, it's a pretty valiant effort to hang in there for third place. So you know, not too awfully bad out of Jace's Road. But it's probably not a horse that I'll be using, just because you got to start making some choices. But out of Quality Road, trained by Brad Cox, Jackie to be determined. So he's definitely he got passed by Disarm actually. So that was in the final stages of the race. So that's kind of another little kind of a check tick box for Disarm, is I think that was a pretty solid race that Disarm ran. So this quality road colt prefers to be forwardly placed. So I could see, and it might be Florent Giroux riding Jace's Road. So I could see him to try to take that same route he did with Mandaloon's run in the 2021 Derby. Just a thought. I don't know for sure what they'll do, but Jace's Road. And then now we got our next horse up, Reincarnate, and actually a horse I haven't researched enough yet, but we'll try to give a little profile here anyway. He was third in the Arkansas Derby. I believe got a 95 buyer. So out of Good Magic, trained by Tim Yachtine. And this is one that came over from Bob Baffert. So it is a former Bob Baffert trained horse. Reincarnate had a troubled trip in the Rebel and finished a noteworthy third. So a pretty decent run in the prequel to the race I'm getting ready to show you. So he headed to the Arkansas Derby as the buzz horse, but didn't really improve the results. Bit of a disappointment. So Arkansas Derby, he is horse number 8, who is running currently second. And so let's pick it up. All right. So this is right around the backstretch, I think, or heading, it might be heading for the turn home. But the 8 horse in position to pounce. You know, you gotta make your move. So he does, and he gets split, and then of course he gets blindsided coming across by the 6, who we've profiled already this week. I think that's Angel of Empire. So the 8 horse is just trying to do everything it can to stay in the money, and does get clipped for the second place finish and takes a third place finish. So anyway, didn't quite improve. So he pressed the pace and lost. I don't know that I foresee a whole lot in this horse as far as using it much at all. So it's probably going to be a toss for me, Reincarnate. All right. So we are here to the number 20, and this is always going to be the number 20 horse. It is Continuar, the Japan invite. So he didn't get in on points alone, but a good horse. So I thought I'd see, it was a third place finish behind Sotogake and Dermot Sotogake in the UAE Derby. So I thought we maybe just show had a strong juvenile campaign, but was beaten 10 lengths in this race. So that just shows you how good Dermot Sotogake was. But he was the number 4 horse. So he's in the mix right there, right alongside everybody the whole way, keeping pace. So not too bad. I think when it comes down to pressing on the gas pedal coming for home, he just didn't have the speed. You can see him scrubbing him already. He is doing everything he can, and Sotogaki's almost handridden. And you can see, look how hard he's scrubbing that horse. He's whipping him and just trying to do anything he can to keep up. So that just shows you the disparity between these two horses, in my opinion. So I just thought I'd show you that. So that actually kind of gives me a little bit more of a feather in Derma Sotogaki's hat, because that horse can definitely flat out run. So if we get a nice fast track on Derby Day, It's going to be, he's definitely going to be amongst the probably top 4 choices, I would say. So anyway, that is your 20 Derby horses. So I hope you enjoyed the previews. I'll be back soon with more once we get post position draws and early next week. I might do something over the weekend with different angles to play. Like I've already got a couple in the article where about dosage, which is not as big anymore as it used to be, but the buyer numbers, speed figures coming home, like the final eighth, the final 3/16, things of that nature, pace of the race scenarios, maybe stuff like that. So until then, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, tell a friend, tell 2, tell 5, and we'll see what we got going on next week. See you soon.